There is a power that moves through you, a force so intimate that it cannot be separated from your being. In the moments when life feels heavy, when obstacles seem insurmountable, and when you feel as though you are walking alone, know this: God is standing by you. Not in some distant heaven, not as an outside force waiting to intervene, but as the breath in your lungs, the stillness behind your thoughts, the whisper that tells you to rise even when the world says you cannot. When the world seems against you, dare to believe in the unseen. Dare to trust that your current suffering is not the end of your story. That which you assume as truth in the silence of your mind will shape the path before you. Silence the noise of fear, now hear it, the voice within. That still, small voice does not cry in despair. It does not bow before circumstances. It simply knows you are held, you are loved, you are guided. If you knew beyond doubt that God was with you, would you fear the storm? If you understood that your trials are only temporary illusions, would you still despair? The only thing required of you is to believe, to stand firm in the knowing that the power within you is greater than any challenge before you. Rise. Let your faith be the foundation upon which you stand. Let your imagination be the architect of your future, and let your heart rest, for you are never alone. God is standing by you, now and always. The life you see before you is nothing more than a reflection of the thoughts and beliefs you have accepted as true. It is easy to look at hardship and think it defines you, that your current struggle is the measure of who you are. But the truth is far greater. What you see now is simply the result of past assumptions, past states of being, past beliefs. And just as the past does not dictate the future, your present circumstances hold no real power over you, unless you let them. The mind is a powerful thing, shaping reality in ways most fail to comprehend. Everything you experience is filtered through the lens of your assumptions. If you believe you are stuck, if you accept that struggle is your fate, then the world will shape itself to reflect that. But the moment you decide, truly decide, that a new reality is yours, everything begins to shift. The circumstances that once seemed immovable start to change. Opportunities arise where there were none. The weight that once pressed upon you begins to lift. Why? Because the world outside is nothing more than a mirror reflecting back what you persist in believing. It is tempting to define yourself by what you see. If you are struggling financially, it is easy to call yourself poor. If you are alone, you may label yourself unworthy of love. If life has been difficult, you may come to believe that you are simply meant to suffer. But these are just passing conditions, not eternal truths. The greatest mistake one can make is to assume that temporary circumstances are permanent. Yet, this is what so many do. They see hardship and claim it as their identity. But you must understand, circumstances do not define you. Your assumptions do. Consider for a moment a person who has failed time and time again. If they allow failure to define them, they will continue to fail. But if they refuse to accept that failure is their truth, if they choose to see themselves as someone destined for success, then the world will shift to match their inner conviction. This is not wishful thinking. It is not empty hope. It is the law by which all things are created. The moment you detach from what you see and instead claim what you desire as your reality, everything must change. But to do this, you must be willing to let go of the idea that what is in front of you now is final. It is not. It never was. The hardship, the struggle, the pain. It is all fleeting, waiting for you to assume something greater. Many will say, but how can I ignore what is happening? How can I believe in abundance when I have nothing? How can I feel loved when I'm alone? The answer is simple yet profound. because what you accept in your mind will become what you experience in your world. You must learn to see beyond the present moment, to trust that what is unseen is just as real, if not more real, than what is before you. Think of a seed buried beneath the earth. It is invisible to the eye, yet within it lies the potential for a towering tree. If you judge the seed by what is seen, you would dismiss it as nothing, but given time and the right conditions, it will grow, breaking through the soil, reaching toward the sky. Your beliefs are the same. At first, they may not seem to change anything, but persist in them, nourish them, refuse to abandon them, and soon the world must reshape itself to reflect them. The greatest transformation begins not with effort, but with conviction. Struggle does not end by fighting against it. It ends by shifting your awareness away from it. The more you define yourself by your hardships, the more they persist. The moment you withdraw your attention from them and claim something new, you set into motion an unseen power that will rearrange everything in your favor. So, if you find yourself in difficult circumstances, do not despair. Do not let the world convince you that this is all there is. You are far greater than any situation you face. You are not defined by lack, by pain, by failure. These things are merely shadows, temporary reflections of an old state of being. The only truth that matters is the one you choose to accept. Take a moment, close your eyes. Feel in the deepest part of yourself the truth that you are not bound by anything outside of you. See yourself as already free, already abundant, already loved. Hold on to that vision. Live in it, breathe in it, until it feels more real than what your eyes see. For what you persist in assuming, you must one day experience. There is a great misunderstanding in the world, a belief that God exists somewhere far away, beyond the reach of human experience. People look to the heavens, to sacred places, to external signs, hoping to find proof of the divine. They call out in desperation, searching for something that has never been absent. But the truth is simple, yet so profound. God is not outside of you. God is within. From the moment you took your first breath, the divine was there, not as a distant figure watching from above, but as the very life force that moves through you. Every thought you think, every moment of stillness, every stirring of intuition is a whisper from the infinite. You are not separate from this presence, you are one with it. But the world has conditioned you to believe otherwise. It has told you that you must seek, that you must prove yourself worthy, that you must earn the favor of something beyond you. Yet nothing could be further from the truth. You have never been alone, not even in your darkest moments. That quiet voice within you, the one that nudges you forward even when all seems lost, that is the presence of God. That sudden clarity in times of confusion, that inexplicable peace in the midst of chaos, that deep knowing that you are meant for something greater, all of it is evidence that the divine does not merely watch over you but moves within you. Many have spent their lives searching for signs, asking for proof, waiting for something external to validate their faith. But the greatest sign has always been within. If you were to silence the noise of the world, to step away from the fear, the doubt, the distractions, you would hear it. You would feel it. The presence that has never left you, the power that does not need to be summoned because it is already here. Understand this is to transform your life completely. When you accept that God is within you, you stop feeling powerless. You stop pleading, stop begging, stop waiting for something outside of you to change your circumstances. Instead, you recognize that you have been given the greatest gift, the ability to shape your reality from within. What you hold in your mind, what you accept as true in the depths of your being will be reflected in your world, not because you are separate from God, but because you are an extension of the divine itself. You do not need permission to create, to heal, to step into the fullness of who you are. The presence that governs all things already flows through you. It has always been there, waiting for you to awaken to it. When you understand that the divine is not something you must reach for, but something you already are, fear begins to dissolve. There is no longer a need to chase, to struggle, to prove yourself. Instead, you rest in the certainty that you are supported, guided, and deeply loved. And from that place of knowing, your life begins to change. The problems that once seemed overwhelming lose their power over you. You stop looking to the outside world for validation because you recognize that everything begins within. When you align yourself with this truth, doors open, obstacles fade, and the things you once thought impossible become inevitable. Not because some force outside of you has decided to bless you, but because you have stepped into the awareness of what has always been yours. It is in the moments of stillness that you feel it most. When you close your eyes, when you take a deep breath, when you silence the doubts and simply listen. There, in the quiet, is the knowing, the deep, unshakable truth that you have never been abandoned, that even when you felt lost, even when you thought no one heard your prayers, you were being guided. Not by something separate from you, but by the very presence that breathes life into you. So do not search outside yourself for what has always been within. Do not wait for a sign when the greatest proof is already alive in you. The divine is not a distant force, not something you must reach for, not a presence that comes and goes. It is here, now, always. It is in your thoughts, in your desires, in the very essence of who you are. Once you realize this, everything changes. You no longer walk through life feeling separate, powerless, or uncertain. You move with confidence, knowing that you are guided. You face challenges with strength, knowing that you are never alone. You no longer seek love because you understand that you are love. The world may try to convince you otherwise. It may tell you that you are small, that you must earn your place, that you must struggle to be worthy, but none of that is true. You have always been enough. You have always been connected. You have always been divine. So trust it. Trust the stillness within you. Trust the quiet knowing that speaks in moments of clarity. Let go of the idea that you must seek what has never been missing. Stand firm in the truth that God is not outside of you. God is within. And in that knowing, you will find everything you have ever needed. Faith is the unseen force that shapes the reality you live in. It is not wishful thinking, nor is it blind hope in uncertain circumstances. Faith is the absolute conviction that what you accept as true in your mind must take form in the world around you. It is the bridge between the invisible and the visible, the cause behind every effect, the force that moves mountains without effort. In moments of hardship, it is easy to believe that circumstances dictate your fate. The world may present obstacles, delays, and disappointments, and the mind, conditioned by past experiences, may whisper doubts. But faith does not waver in the face of appearances. Faith sees beyond what is and holds firm to what will be. It does not ask whether something is possible, it declares it as already done. What you consistently hold in the silence of your mind, whether it be fear or certainty, doubt or assurance, becomes the blueprint of your reality. The world you see is but a reflection of the assumptions you carry. If you assume struggle, struggle will persist. If you assume success, success will find its way to you, not because the world outside is dictating your fate, but because the world is merely responding to the state you embody within. Faith is not about forcing change or struggling against circumstances. It is about knowing with absolute certainty that what you desire already exists in the unseen. There is no need to beg, no need to plead. When you plant a seed in the earth, you do not dig it up every day to see if it is growing. You trust that the process is unfolding. Likewise, faith requires you to trust that the unseen is already taking shape. Many people falter because they allow their faith to be shaken by what they see. They declare abundance but react with fear to financial difficulties. They affirm health but let worry consume their minds. Faith does not waver in the face of difficulty. It remains unmoved. It is not swayed by time, nor does it require proof. It is the silent knowing that regardless of what the world shows, what has been accepted as true in the mind must come to pass. Transformation begins the moment you stop looking to the external world for validation and start holding firm to your inner conviction. Even in the midst of struggle, even when nothing seems to be changing, faith demands that you persist in your assumption. It does not matter if the world calls it impossible. It does not matter if circumstances contradict it. The unseen reality is more powerful than anything visible, and with unwavering faith, it must become visible. You are always manifesting, whether you realize it or not. The question is not whether faith works, but what you are placing your faith in. Are you placing it in limitations, in lack, in fear, or are you placing it in the certainty that all things are possible? When you shift your faith from doubt to assurance, from fear to confidence, your world begins to reflect that change. Faith does not mean ignoring difficulties. It means refusing to let difficulties define you. It means knowing that even in the midst of hardship, something greater is at work. It means choosing to see beyond what is and standing firm in the unseen reality you have claimed as your own. This is why transformation is never about the external. It is about what you accept within. Change your inner reality and the outer world must follow. It is not a matter of effort, but of alignment. The moment you believe fully, without hesitation, without questioning, the transformation begins. It may not happen in an instant, but it is already in motion. Just as the seed grows beneath the surface before breaking through the soil, the shift is occurring even when you cannot see it. The key is not to waver, not to let doubt creep in. The moment you entertain doubt, you uproot the seed. But when you hold firm, when you remain steadfast in the truth you have claimed, the world has no choice but to conform. This is the secret to all great transformations. Not effort, not struggle, not waiting for something outside of you to change. It is faith. Faith so unshakable that no external force can break it. Faith so strong that no obstacle can stand against it. Faith so complete that even when the world gives you every reason to doubt, you refuse to accept anything but the reality you have chosen. Your life is a reflection of your deepest convictions. If you do not like what you see, do not fight the world. Change what you hold within. Do not waver between belief and doubt. Stand firm. Do not seek signs in the outer world. Be the sign yourself. Live as though it is already done, and it will be. Faith is not passive. It is the most powerful force in existence. It does not wait for the world to change. It changes the world. And the moment you embrace it fully, your life will never be the same. Difficulties are not meant to break you. They are designed to elevate you. Every challenge, every moment of struggle carries within it the seed of its own resolution. The problem is never the circumstance itself, but how you perceive it. If you see obstacles as permanent, they will appear insurmountable. But if you recognize them as stepping stones, they become pathways to transformation. Life does not bring hardships to punish you. It brings them as opportunities to refine you, to strip away doubt, to reveal the strength and wisdom already within you. When difficulties arise, the natural reaction is resistance. To push against, to fight, to question why they have appeared. Yet resistance only prolongs the struggle. The key is to shift from resistance to acceptance, not as surrender, but as an understanding that within the hardship lies a lesson, a gift, a doorway to something greater. Think back to any trial you have faced. At the time it may have seemed overwhelming, but as you moved through it, you emerged different, stronger, wiser, more aware. If you had never faced that difficulty, you would not have gained the insights it provided. Growth is not found in ease, but in overcoming. Just as pressure turns coal into diamonds, adversity refines and strengthens the soul. Nothing in your life is truly working against you. The obstacles you face are not barriers, they are guides, redirecting you to a higher path. When something falls apart, it is often because something greater is being prepared. When a door closes, it is not rejection but redirection. The challenge is not to mourn what has been lost, but to trust in what is being made ready. The mind, conditioned by fear, often misinterprets difficulties as signs of failure. It tells you that hardship means you are on the wrong path, that suffering is a sign to give up. But the truth is quite the opposite. The very presence of struggle means that something within you is being called to evolve. When you shift your perception, when you embrace difficulties rather than resist them, you unlock their true purpose. There is no challenge that does not come with its own solution. The problem and the answer exist together, like two sides of the same coin. If you focus only on the problem, you blind yourself to the answer. But when you shift your awareness, when you ask, what is this teaching me? What is the opportunity hidden within this? Then clarity begins to emerge. Some of the greatest transformations come disguised as adversity. Many have lost jobs only to discover their true calling. Many have faced heartbreak only to find a deeper, more fulfilling love. Many have been rejected only to realize they were meant for something far greater. What appears to be an end is often just a beginning in disguise. The key is to trust the process, to stop resisting and start flowing, to recognize that life is not happening to you, but for you. Every difficulty is a stepping stone, leading you exactly where you need to be. The only question is whether you will walk forward in faith or remain stuck in fear. When trials come, do not shrink back. Do not lament the struggle. Instead, stand firm. Remind yourself that nothing is against you, that every obstacle is an opportunity, that within every hardship lies the seed of transformation. The moment you stop seeing difficulties as roadblocks and start seeing them as stepping stones, your entire reality shifts. Your life is shaped not by what happens to you, but by how you respond to it. If you see hardship as a curse, it will weigh you down. If you see it as a gift, it will lift you up. Your perception defines your experience. Choose to see trials as the refining fire that strengthens you, and you will move through them with grace and power. No challenge is greater than the power within you. No difficulty is without purpose. Every step, even those that seem painful, is leading you forward. Trust that process. Trust that life is unfolding exactly as it should. And most of all, trust that within every trial lies the key to something far greater than you can yet imagine. Everything you see in your world first existed in the unseen realm of imagination. The house you live in, the chair you sit on, the very device you use to read these words. Each of these began as an idea before it became reality. The same is true for your life. The circumstances you experience today are the direct result of what you have imagined, whether consciously or unconsciously. Imagination is not a passive daydream, but the creative force that shapes your reality. It is the blueprint from which the world molds itself around you. The life you desire already exists in the unseen. Your role is to accept it in imagination and trust that it must take form. There is no exception to this law. What you persistently hold in your mind, you will experience in time. Lack, sorrow, and fear only persist when you accept them as your reality. They are not permanent, they are simply reflections of past beliefs. If you continue to focus on them, they will continue to appear. But the moment you shift your inner state, when you refuse to accept limitation and instead embrace abundance, joy, and confidence in your imagination, your external world will follow. Many people believe they must first see a change before they can believe it is real. But this is an illusion. All change begins within. You must first see it in imagination. Feel it as real in your inner world, before the outer world can conform. Just as a seed must be planted in the soil before a tree can grow, your desires must first be planted in the fertile ground of your imagination. The mistake most people make is allowing external conditions to dictate their inner state. If they see lack, they imagine more lack. If they experience sorrow, they dwell on sorrow. But to truly transform your life, you must do the opposite. You must refuse to be ruled by what your senses tell you and instead trust in the unseen. The world is not fixed, it is fluid, always shifting in response to your inner convictions. If you desire wealth, you must first embody the feeling of wealth in imagination. If you seek love, you must first feel deeply loved within. If you long for peace, you must first assume the state of peace in your mind. The world cannot give you what you have not first accepted internally. It does not work the other way around. Some may argue, how can I feel abundant when my bank account is empty? Or how can I feel loved when I am alone? But this is where the power of imagination comes in. It is not about pretending, it is about knowing. When you close your eyes and fully immerse yourself in the experience of already having what you seek, when you feel the joy, the gratitude, the relief of already possessing it, you shift into the state where it must become your reality. Doubt is the only barrier between you and your desires. The moment you question whether your imagination has power, you delay its fulfillment. But the moment you accept that imagination precedes reality, that what you claim internally must be expressed externally, you step into the creative role you were meant to embody. It does not matter how long the outer world has reflected limitation. It can change in an instant. The moment you assume a new state, the unseen forces of life begin working to bring it into form. Paths open, opportunities arise, people and circumstances shift in ways you could never predict. You do not have to control the how. Your only role is to remain faithful to the vision. Think of your imagination as a sculptor and your world as clay. The form you hold in your mind is the mold, and life takes its shape accordingly. If you do not like what you see, do not fight the world. Shape a new vision, one that aligns with your desires, and persist in that vision regardless of what appears before you. This is not wishful thinking. This is the fundamental law by which reality operates. You are already using imagination every day, whether you realize it or not. If you dwell on problems, you are imagining more problems. If you constantly fear failure, you are imagining failure into being. The key is to take control of this power, to direct it consciously toward the life you desire. Imagination is the beginning of all things. If you would change your life, you must first change your inner world. See yourself as already successful, already fulfilled, already living the life you desire. Hold that vision with unwavering faith. What you accept in imagination must unfold in reality. This is law. Trust it, live by it, and watch as your world transforms before your eyes. There is a presence that never wavers, never withdraws, never turns away. It is the presence of God, the unshakable force of love that upholds all things. No matter how the world shifts, no matter how circumstances appear, this presence remains unchanged. In moments of chaos, when life feels uncertain and burdens seem too heavy to bear, it may feel as though you are alone. But the truth is, you have never been abandoned. God's love does not come and go like the changing of the seasons. It is constant, eternal, and always near. It is easy to look at the outside world and mistake its instability for the nature of life itself. Relationships shift, fortunes rise and fall, the body ages, and circumstances seem to change without warning. If you base your sense of security on these external things, you will always feel uncertain, always searching, always hoping for something solid to hold on to. But there is something deeper, something unmovable, something that does not bend with the winds of change. That something is the presence of God within you. This presence is not found in the noise of the world. It is not in the opinions of others, nor in the fleeting nature of material things. It is found in the quiet, in the stillness, in the moments when you close your eyes and listen, not with your ears, but with your soul. When you do, you will realize that the love of God has been there all along, waiting for you to recognize it. People seek love outside of themselves, believing it must come from another person, from approval, from achievement. They long for connection, for reassurance, for something to tell them they are valued. But true love, the deepest, most abiding love, is not something you need to earn. It is not something that can be given or taken away. It is the essence of who you are, the very breath that moves through you. God does not love you because of what you do or do not do. This love is not conditional. It does not fluctuate based on your successes or failures. It does not retreat when you feel lost, nor does it diminish when you feel unworthy. It is steadfast, unchanging, and infinite. You do not need to prove yourself to be deserving of it. You already are. When difficulties arise, it is easy to feel forsaken. Pain has a way of convincing you that you are alone, that no one sees, that no one cares. But this is an illusion. The love of God is nearer to you than your own heartbeat, woven into your very being. If you could silence the doubts, the fears, the restless thoughts for just a moment, you would feel it. In the quiet, in the stillness, in the space between thoughts, there it is. The presence that has never left you, not for a single moment. There is no place you can go where this love is not. No depth of despair, no height of joy. No moment of confusion where God's presence is absent. It does not withdraw when you make mistakes, nor does it increase when you do things right. It simply is, unchanging, unwavering, ever present. When life becomes overwhelming, when you feel lost in the tides of uncertainty, return to the silence within. Close your eyes. Breathe. Let go of the need to control, to understand, to force things into place. In that space you will find peace. Not because the world has changed, but because you have remembered that you are not alone. You are held, you are seen, you are deeply, profoundly loved. Faith is not about never experiencing hardship. It is about knowing that even in the hardest moments, you are not abandoned. Even in sorrow, even in confusion, even in the darkest nights of the soul, there is a presence that remains. A love that does not waver, a strength that does not falter. The mind will question, the world will shift. But love, true divine love, is the one thing that remains. It is the rock beneath your feet, the stillness in the storm, the whisper in the quiet moments, reminding you that you are enough, that you are whole, that you are loved beyond measure. No matter what happens, no matter how uncertain things seem, trust this: you are never alone. Listen, not with your ears, but with your soul. Be still, and you will know. The presence of God is here, now, always. It is unshakable. It is love. It is yours. To every trial, every hardship, and every moment of uncertainty, one truth remains unshaken. God is with you, not as a distant force, not as something outside of you, but as the very presence that breathes life into your being. Your circumstances do not define you, for they are but reflections of past beliefs, and you hold the power to transform them. The divine presence is not something to seek elsewhere, for it has never left you. It dwells within, guiding you through unseen ways. Faith is the key that unlocks transformation. What you accept as true within yourself must eventually take form in the world around you. Difficulties are not meant to break you, but to shape you. to lead you to a greater awareness of who you truly are. And as you embrace this understanding, as you recognize that imagination precedes reality, you will no longer fear the shifting tides of life. Instead, you will stand firm, knowing that you are held in an unshakable presence of love. No matter how much the world changes, no matter how much uncertainty you may face, one thing remains constant. God's love never wavers. In your quiet moments, listen. Be still, and you will know the truth. You have never been alone. You are deeply loved, eternally guided, and infinitely supported. Walk forward with confidence, trust, and faith, knowing that all you need has already been given. Thank you for listening, and may you carry this truth in your heart always. My friends, listen carefully. There are moments in life when you are betrayed, when whispers of deceit move behind closed doors, when the hands that once held yours strike you in silence. They smile to your face but plot behind your back. They hurt you in secret, believing no one will ever know. But the great truth is this: nothing remains hidden forever. The universe operates on laws unbreakable, and the energy we put out must return to us. Every lie told, every deception spun, every injustice committed, it all circles back to its source. You need not chase them. You need not unmask them. God Himself will do it. Do you not see? The betrayal was never meant to break you. It was meant to elevate you. If you have been wronged, know this: you are being positioned for something greater. Your spirit is being refined, your path is being cleared, and those who sought to harm you will one day stand exposed. This is not about vengeance. No, vengeance is the work of the small-minded. This is about divine justice. The same ones who whisper about you in secret will one day have to watch your rise in silence. The same ones who doubted you will one day witness your transformation. Remain still, do not react. Your silence is your power. Let them believe they have won. Let them believe they have escaped unseen. The hands of time are already moving. And when God exposes them, the world will see the truth they worked so hard to hide. So, lift your head. Walk forward in faith. What was meant for your harm is already turning in your favor. The unseen forces of the universe operate with absolute precision. Every action, every intention, every thought is recorded in the grand design of life. There is no escaping it, no avoiding it, no covering it up for eternity. When someone chooses to act in deceit, when they whisper lies, when they manipulate and wound in the shadows, they believe they are safe. They believe that their actions will never see the light of day, that the harm they cause will never return to them. But they do not understand the fundamental truth that governs all existence. Nothing is hidden from divine justice. For a time it may seem as though they have succeeded. They move through life appearing untouched, their hands unsoiled, their conscience undisturbed. But this is only an illusion, a fleeting moment where darkness believes itself victorious. What they fail to realize is that every action creates an echo. Every secret wound inflicted upon another carries an inevitable consequence. The universe does not forget. The unseen forces that uphold the balance of life are always working, moving, orchestrating events to restore what was broken, to reveal what was concealed. Consider the way nature itself operates. The seed buried in the soil does not remain hidden forever. With time it emerges, breaking through the earth, stretching toward the light. So too do the deeds of men. What was done in secret must one day be seen. The one who betrayed in silence will find themselves standing in the full exposure of truth. The one who deceived will be revealed for what they are. There is no darkness that can hold its power against the light. Many times those who have been wronged feel an urge to expose the injustice themselves. They long for the world to see the truth, to make others aware of the pain that was inflicted upon them. But divine justice does not require your interference. You do not need to chase down lies or seek to unmask those who have harmed you. That is not your burden to carry. Truth does not need a defender. It is powerful enough to rise on its own. Look at the stories throughout history. How many times have those who sought to conceal their wrongdoings been brought to ruin? How often has the one who thought they had escaped consequence found themselves suddenly exposed? The greatest downfalls are not those brought about by men, but by the unseen hand of justice that ensures no one escapes the weight of their own actions. Those who built their lives upon deception will find their foundations crumbling beneath them. But what about you? What about the one who has been wronged? What about the one who has suffered betrayal, slander, and silent wounds? You must understand this. Your healing does not come from witnessing their downfall. Your healing comes from releasing the pain, stepping forward in faith, and knowing that justice is already in motion. You do not need to concern yourself with when or how it will happen. The moment the harm was done to you, the process of restoration began. There is a higher order, a divine intelligence that sees beyond what the human eye perceives. It sees the hidden tears, the silent prayers, the moments of anguish no one else witnessed. And it is in those very moments that your redemption is being written. The same way the universe ensures that no injustice goes unseen, it also ensures that no suffering goes unanswered. Trust in the timing of divine justice. Sometimes exposure does not come immediately. Sometimes it takes years for the truth to be fully revealed. But do not mistake delay for denial. What is hidden today will be undeniable tomorrow. The greater the deception, the greater the revelation. The longer the lie persists, the more dramatic the exposure will be. Those who have harmed others may continue to walk freely for a time, but their steps are already leading them toward the unveiling of their truth. Your responsibility is not to wait for their downfall, but to rise above it. Do not allow bitterness to consume you. Do not let the actions of others imprison your mind. True power lies in knowing that nothing can be taken from you that will not be restored in greater measure. What was lost will be returned. What was broken will be made whole. The betrayals you endured were not the end of your story. They were the beginning of your transformation. Let go of the need to watch their exposure. It will come when the time is right. Let go of the desire to make others see what they have done. The truth will reveal itself, whether you witness it or not. The best thing you can do is continue moving forward, knowing that you are divinely protected, that nothing escapes the eyes of justice, and that every wrong will be made right. The universe does not forget. God does not overlook. What was done in darkness is already being prepared for the light. Trust that. Walk in that faith. And when the day comes when the truth is laid bare, you will not feel anger or the need for vengeance. You will feel peace, knowing that divine justice has always been working in your favor. The world around you is nothing more than a reflection of the world within you. Every experience, every interaction, every betrayal, these are manifestations of the inner state you carry, the beliefs you hold, and the energy you cultivate. When someone deceives you, when you are wounded by betrayal, it is easy to believe that the external world is acting against you. But the truth is far deeper. The way you process that betrayal, the way you choose to respond, is what shapes the reality that follows. Your inner world is the foundation upon which all things in your life are built. Many people, when faced with deceit, react with anger, resentment, or a deep need for justice. They want to see the person who wronged them suffer, to see them exposed, to ensure that the world knows what was done. This reaction is natural, but it is also limiting. When your energy is tied to the wrongdoing of another, you continue to be entangled in their actions. You allow their betrayal to dictate your emotions, your thoughts, and ultimately your life. Justice is not something that needs to be forced. It unfolds according to the laws of the universe, and these laws operate on energy. If you remain aligned with faith, with trust, with a deep knowing that all things will be made right in their own time, then you allow divine order to work on your behalf. But if you allow fear to consume you, fear that they will never be exposed, fear that they will never face consequences, then you disrupt that order. You shift from a state of power to a state of helplessness. Because fear is the great illusion that makes you believe you must take control. The moment you realize that your reality is shaped from within, you take back your power. You begin to understand that no betrayal, no deception, no external event can break you unless you allow it to. When someone wounds you in secret, they expect you to be consumed by that pain. They expect their actions to alter your course, to keep you in a state of confusion or anger. But what they do not realize is that their actions hold no real power. Your response is what determines the outcome. Think of two individuals who experience the same betrayal. One is filled with bitterness. They replay the events over and over in their mind, allowing the pain to dictate their emotions. They become guarded, distrusting, and carry that wound into every future interaction. Their reality becomes shaped by this single act of betrayal because they have not released it from within. The other person, however, recognizes the pain but refuses to let it take root. They do not deny what happened, but they also do not allow it to define them. They move forward in faith, trusting that justice is inevitable, that life will correct itself without their interference. Their inner world remains strong, unshaken, and as a result, their outer reality follows suit. The difference between these two individuals is not what happened to them, but how they chose to process it. One remains stuck in the external world, focusing on what was done to them. The other remained rooted in their internal power, knowing that nothing can be taken from them that will not be restored in greater measure. This is the truth that so many fail to see. What happens to you is never as important as how you respond. Betrayal may shake you, but it does not have to break you. Deceit may wound you, but it does not have to define you. If you believe that you are at the mercy of others, that your peace is dependent on whether or not they are exposed, then you have already given away your power. But if you understand that your peace comes from within, that justice is not yours to force, but yours to trust in, then nothing can shake you. There is an order to life, a balance that cannot be disrupted. The same way the sun must rise, the same way the tides must shift, justice must unfold. What is hidden must come to light. What is taken must be returned. But the timeline is not yours to control. Your only responsibility is to stay aligned with the energy that ensures you remain in a state of elevation rather than suffering. There is a simple truth that few understand. The moment you detach from the need to see justice, justice begins to unfold. When you are no longer consumed by whether or not they will be exposed, the exposure happens effortlessly. When you are no longer waiting for their downfall, it arrives without warning. This is because your energy has shifted. You are no longer blocking divine order with your own resistance. Instead, you are allowing it to move freely, to bring balance, as it always does. The ones who wronged you, who lied to you, who betrayed you, they have already set their fate in motion. The moment they acted in deceit, they placed themselves on a path that leads to their own exposure. You do not need to stand in their way. You do not need to wait and watch. The only thing you must do is continue forward, ensuring that your heart remains unburdened by their actions. When you truly understand this, you will no longer live in fear. You will no longer hold on to anger. You will no longer ask when justice will come, because you will know that it already has. The same force that allowed the betrayal to happen is the same force that will correct it. The only question is whether you will remain bound to the pain or rise above it. Everything begins within. The world outside of you is simply a reflection of what you carry inside. If you hold on to anger, you will see more reasons to be angry. If you hold on to faith, you will see how effortlessly justice unfolds. Your peace does not depend on whether or not others are punished. Your peace depends on whether or not you choose to remain in alignment with a higher truth, that no injustice goes unseen. Let go of the need to control. Let go of the fear that justice will not be served. It is already happening. Focus only on ensuring that your inner world remains steady, because when your inner world is in order, your outer world will follow. No one who has wronged you has the power to shape your destiny. Only you do. And when you stand firm in that truth, everything else must align in your favor. There is an order to life that cannot be rushed, manipulated, or controlled. Everything unfolds according to a divine plan, and though you may not always see it, that plan is always in motion. When you have been wronged, when someone has betrayed you, it is natural to want justice immediately. You want to see their actions exposed, their deceit laid bare for the world to see. But divine order does not operate on human impatience. It moves according to a higher wisdom, one that ensures that everything is revealed at the exact moment it is meant to be. There is no such thing as an action without consequence. The moment someone acts in deception, the seeds of their exposure are planted. But just as a seed takes time to grow, so does the unfolding of divine justice. You may look around and wonder why they seem to prosper despite their wrongdoing, why they continue on without consequences, while you are left carrying the weight of what they have done. But what you do not see is the foundation beneath them beginning to crack. What is hidden will always come to light, and what is built on lies cannot stand. The challenge is to trust in this process, to release the need to control how and when justice arrives. The more you try to force it, the more you entangle yourself in the energy of what was done to you. The more you watch and wait, hoping for their downfall, the more you remain connected to their actions. True power comes in letting go, in knowing that divine justice does not require your interference. There is a perfect moment for everything. A flower does not bloom before its time. The sun does not rise before the night has run its course. And just as nature follows a rhythm, so does the unfolding of truth. If justice were rushed, it would not be complete. If someone was exposed before the right moment, the full weight of their actions would not be felt. But when the time is right, when every piece is in place, their actions will be revealed in a way that cannot be denied. What appears to be a delay is actually preparation. The universe is aligning everything so that when truth comes to the surface, it does so in a way that is undeniable, irreversible, and complete. This is why you must resist the urge to act out of impatience. If you try to expose someone before divine order has set the stage, you may only see temporary consequences. But when you trust in timing, when you step back and allow the process to unfold, the exposure will be undeniable. Many people who betray others believe that they have escaped consequences simply because nothing happens immediately. They continue on, believing that their actions have gone unnoticed, that they have succeeded in their deception. But what they do not realize is that every action carries an energy, and that energy must return to them. They are walking toward their own downfall, step by step, unaware that the very thing they try to avoid is already set in motion. You may not see the storm coming, but that does not mean it is not on its way. The one who wronged you may appear untouched by consequences, but what is happening beneath the surface is far greater than what you can see. The delays are not denials. They are simply the universe ensuring that when justice comes, it is undeniable. The more you trust in this, the more peace you will find. When you understand that timing is perfect, that nothing is forgotten, you release the burden of carrying anger, resentment, and frustration. You no longer wake up wondering when they will face what they have done. Instead, you move forward, knowing that their actions have already determined their fate. The law of cause and effect cannot be broken. What is given must be received, and what is hidden must be revealed. The moment you surrender to this truth, you free yourself. You no longer need to chase justice, because you understand that justice is inevitable. You do not need to wait and watch, because you trust that everything is happening exactly as it should. Your focus shifts from them to yourself, from their actions to your own healing. And when you do this, you rise above the pain, the betrayal, and the need for validation. You step into a space where their actions no longer have power over you. Let them believe they have succeeded. Let them think they have escaped. It does not matter, because the unseen forces of life are already working. The same way the sun must rise, the same way the tides must shift, truth must come to light. It is not a matter of if, but when. And when that moment arrives, everything will fall into place in a way that only divine order can orchestrate. So release your worries. Let go of the need to see their downfall. Shift your focus back to yourself, to your own growth, to your own peace. The timing is not in your hands, but that is a blessing, not a burden. Trust that all things are happening in perfect order, and when the moment comes, you will see that justice was never delayed. It was simply being prepared in a way that no one could deny. There is immense power in silence. When you have been wronged, when someone has betrayed your trust or sought to harm you in secret, your first instinct may be to react, to defend yourself, to expose them, to make sure the world sees the truth. But the greatest strength lies not in retaliation, not in loud confrontations or desperate attempts to force justice, but in the quiet certainty that truth cannot remain hidden. What has been done in darkness must come to light, and you do not have to be the one to reveal it. Silence is not weakness. It is not passivity. It is the highest form of control, for it shows that you trust in a power greater than immediate revenge. When you remain silent, you allow the universe to do what it does best, balance the scales in ways that are beyond human understanding. The one who wronged you thrives on reaction. They want to see you struggle, to see you chase justice, to know that they still have a hold on your emotions. But when you give them nothing, no response, no acknowledgement, you strip them of that power. There is a divine intelligence at work that sees all things, knows all intentions, and moves in ways that cannot be interfered with. When you try to force justice, when you seek revenge, you place yourself in the same energy as those who have harmed you. You entangle yourself in their chaos, making yourself a part of their story rather than freeing yourself from it. But when you step back, when you choose silence, you allow the universe to move in its own way, and its way is always perfect. What is done in the shadows cannot remain there forever. Lies, deceit, and betrayal carry an energy that cannot be sustained indefinitely. The weight of dishonesty always becomes too heavy for the one carrying it. Eventually, they expose themselves, not because you fought to reveal the truth, but because truth is too powerful to be contained. Many believe that silence means surrender, that by not speaking out, you are allowing injustice to continue. But silence is not surrender, it is strategy. It is understanding that timing is everything and that rushing the process will only dilute the outcome. There is a time to speak, but it is never in anger, never in a desperate attempt to force someone to admit what they have done. The truth does not need your help to stand. It will reveal itself when the moment is right. Imagine a seed planted in the earth. You do not need to dig it up every day to prove that it is growing. You do not need to shout at the soil, demanding that it break open so the roots can emerge. You simply trust that nature is doing its work, and in time, what was hidden beneath the surface will break through for all to see. The same is true of the truth. You do not need to expose it. You do not need to force it. You simply need to wait. And when the time is right, it will emerge on its own. The most dangerous person is not the one who reacts impulsively, but the one who moves in silence. Silence is the ultimate form of strength because it shows that you are unshaken. It shows that you do not need validation, that you are not seeking approval, that you are not dependent on anyone else's perception of justice. The one who betrayed you will be waiting for a response, expecting a reaction. When you give them none, you shift the power dynamic entirely. They may assume they have won, they may believe they have escaped consequences, but what they do not realize is that silence is not the absence of action, it is the greatest action of all. It signals that you are not playing their game, that you have removed yourself from their reach, and that whatever happens next is no longer in your hands, but in the hands of something far greater. When you are silent, you are listening. You are attuned to the subtle movements of the universe, watching as things begin to fall into place in ways you could never have orchestrated yourself. And when the moment arrives, when truth finally breaks through, it will do so in a way that no one can deny. The exposure will be complete, undeniable, and absolute. The greatest victories are won in silence. The most powerful people are not those who announce their every move, but those who understand that patience and stillness are their greatest weapons. Do not waste your energy trying to prove yourself. Do not chase validation. Do not seek revenge. Trust that the universe is already at work and the truth is making its way to the surface. Let them think they have won. Let them believe they have escaped. None of it matters, because what is meant to be revealed will be revealed. And when it is, you will be standing in peace, untouched by the chaos they try to bring into your life. Silence is not just your weapon, it is your shield. Use it and watch as justice unfolds in ways you never imagined. Your energy is sacred. It is the essence of your being, the invisible force that shapes your reality and the source from which all things flow in your life. When you have been wronged, betrayed, or hurt by those who sought to diminish you, it is easy to fall into the trap of resentment. It is easy to replay the pain, to dwell on the injustice, and to let anger take root in your heart. But you must resist this temptation. You must understand that your energy is too precious to be wasted on bitterness, too powerful to be entangled with those who have no place in your future. The moment you allow resentment to consume you, you lower your vibration. You begin to live in reaction rather than in creation. You shift from being a master of your destiny to being a prisoner of the past. Every thought of revenge, every moment spent reliving the betrayal, is energy that could have been used to build, to heal, to grow. The universe responds not to your pain, but to your state of being. And if you dwell in bitterness, you will only attract more experiences that reinforce that energy. Let go, not for them, but for yourself. Let go, because your peace is too valuable to be disturbed by those who were never meant to stay in your life. The ones who wronged you will face their reckoning. That is not your concern. The universal laws cannot be escaped. What is given is always returned, and what is sent out always comes back. Those who betrayed your trust, those who acted with deceit, will find themselves entangled in the very energy they put into the world. Your role is not to watch, not to anticipate their downfall, not to seek validation in their suffering. Your role is to elevate, to rise above, to walk forward, unburdened by the past. There is no victory in watching another fall. True victory is in knowing that they no longer have the power to affect your mind, your heart, or your spirit. That is the highest form of freedom. You must learn to protect your energy as fiercely as you would protect a priceless treasure, because that is exactly what it is. Do not let anger dictate your actions. Do not let betrayal harden your heart. The greatest test is to remain open, to remain trusting, to remain full of love even after experiencing pain. This does not mean you allow those who hurt you back into your life. It does not mean you ignore the lessons. It simply means you refuse to become like them. You must rise above the energy that tried to break you. When you carry the weight of resentment, you are still tied to the one who hurt you. You are still allowing them space in your thoughts, still permitting them to drain your energy. But the moment you release it, the moment you choose peace over revenge, you take back your power. There is a divine intelligence governing all things. Nothing goes unnoticed. No action is without consequence. The same force that allowed the sun to rise this morning is the force that ensures justice. You do not need to concern yourself with how or when it will happen. You only need to trust that it will. And in the meantime, you must guard your energy with everything you have. Surround yourself with light, with love, with things that nourish your soul. Focus on what you are creating, not what has been destroyed. Align your thoughts with abundance, not lack. Fill your days with gratitude rather than anger, because what you focus on expands, and if you continue to focus on the betrayal, you will only prolong its hold over you. But if you focus on your growth, on your healing, on your elevation, the past will fade and a new reality will take its place. The world does not reward bitterness. It rewards those who refuse to be defined by their wounds. It rewards those who choose resilience, who choose grace, who choose to rise despite what has been done to them. The best revenge is not to seek revenge at all, but to build a life so full, so abundant, so beautiful that those who sought to hurt you become irrelevant. You are too powerful to be diminished by temporary pain. You are too sacred to let the darkness of others pull you down. Your energy is your most valuable possession. Protect it. Do not waste it on those who do not deserve it. Do not lower yourself to match the frequency of betrayal. Instead, elevate so high that they can no longer reach you. Let the universe handle what you cannot. Let divine justice unfold in its own time, and in the meantime, remain unwavering in your peace, unshaken in your joy, and untouchable in your strength. Because that is how you truly win, not by seeking their downfall, but by rising so high that their actions no longer matter. Betrayal is a painful experience, one that shakes the very foundation of trust and security. When someone you cared for, confided in, or supported turns against you, it can feel like the end of something significant. But what if betrayal is not the end, but the beginning? What if it is not meant to break you, but to position you for something far greater? Life's most profound transformations often come wrapped in the disguise of disappointment. The very thing that was meant to harm you, to discourage you, to set you back, can become the foundation upon which your greatest elevation is built. The moment someone betrays you, you are given a choice: to become bitter or to become better. Most people allow betrayal to consume them, letting anger, pain, and resentment take root in their hearts. They replay the moment, trying to understand why it happened, questioning what they could have done differently. But focusing on the betrayal itself keeps you trapped in its energy. The real shift happens when you recognize that betrayal is often a sign that you are outgrowing your current environment. Some people are only meant to be in your life for a season. When they turn against you, it is not because you were not good enough or because you were unworthy of loyalty. It is because their role in your journey has ended. The betrayal is simply the way the universe moves them out of your path. If they had remained, they would have hindered your growth, kept you stagnant, or delayed the opportunities that are meant for you. Instead of mourning their departure, begin to see it as divine redirection. When you are wronged, deceived, or abandoned, it is easy to see yourself as the victim. But you must shift your perspective. What if betrayal is not happening to you, but happening for you? What if it is a tool, not to destroy you, but to elevate you? Throughout history, those who have risen to greatness have often experienced deep betrayal before their breakthrough. It is almost as if the betrayal serves as a final test, a moment that forces you to choose whether you will succumb to the pain or rise above it. Think about it. Every betrayal reveals something. It exposes the true nature of people, removes those who do not belong in your future, and strengthens your discernment. It forces you to rely not on human validation, but on divine direction. And when you no longer seek external approval, you become unstoppable. There is a hidden blessing in every painful experience. The very people who conspired against you, who lied to you, who tried to break you, unknowingly played a role in your elevation. They thought they were harming you, but in reality, they were pushing you into a greater destiny. Had they been loyal, you might have remained comfortable in a space that was too small for you. Had they been true, you might have stayed in relationships or environments that were no longer aligned with your growth. But because they betrayed you, you were forced to step into something new. The process of elevation is rarely smooth. It often comes with loss, with endings that feel unfair, with pain that seems unbearable. But if you embrace the process, you will begin to see that everything is working for your highest good. You are not being punished, you are being prepared. You are not losing, you are being positioned. What was meant to harm you will become your testimony. The pain you endured will serve as proof of your resilience, your strength, and your ability to overcome. Do not waste time seeking revenge or trying to prove your worth to those who could not see it. The greatest revenge is not to retaliate, but to elevate. Let them watch as you rise beyond what they ever imagined. Let them see that their betrayal did not break you, but built you. When you focus on your growth, your healing, and your purpose, you rob betrayal of its power. You transform pain into wisdom, disappointment into fuel, and setbacks into stepping stones. Everything that was meant to destroy you will become part of the story that inspires others. You will look back on this moment and realize that if it had not been for the betrayal, you would not have reached the heights you were destined for. If they had not walked away, you would not have discovered your strength. If they had not deceived you, you would not have learned to trust in divine timing rather than human loyalty. Hold your head high. Do not let the actions of others define your future. Do not allow their betrayal to diminish your light. What they meant for harm, the universe is turning for good. Your elevation is coming. Your breakthrough is inevitable. The very thing that was meant to bring you down is what will lift you higher. Stay focused, stay faithful, and watch how everything begins to align in your favor. Betrayal is never the end of your story. It is the turning point. It is the moment when you are given the choice to rise above, to trust in the greater plan, and to allow the pain to transform you instead of breaking you. Those who wronged you did not derail your destiny. They unknowingly positioned you for something greater. What was meant to harm you will become your testimony, and your elevation will be undeniable. Do not waste energy on resentment or revenge. The greatest response to betrayal is to thrive, to grow beyond the limitations others tried to place on you, and to step fully into your purpose. Everything is unfolding exactly as it should, and in time you will look back and understand why things had to happen the way they did. Trust the process, keep your energy sacred, stay aligned with faith, and know that your breakthrough is coming. Thank you. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, feel the stillness around you. Now, let me ask you, if you are already a millionaire, how would you wake up tomorrow? How would you walk, talk, and carry yourself throughout the day? Would you move with certainty, knowing that wealth is your natural state? You see, this is the key. Your fortune is not something you strive for, it is something you awaken to. For the next 12 months, you are not working towards becoming a millionaire, you are one, right now. The world will conform to the identity you assume. Let's walk through the plan. Month 1, 3. Reprogramming the mind. Everything begins in the unseen before it appears in the seen. Your first 3 months will be dedicated to mastering your internal world. You must silence doubt, override limiting beliefs, and adopt the mindset of one who is already wealthy. Each morning, visualize yourself as a millionaire. Feel the security, the freedom, the joy of financial abundance. Speak only words that affirm your wealth. Never say, "I can't afford it." Instead say, "Money flows to me easily." Carry yourself with confidence. Rest, walk, and make decisions as if you have already arrived. The external world is but a mirror, and once you shift within, the outer reality will change. Now that your mind is set, you must act accordingly. A millionaire does not hesitate, nor does he shrink in fear. He moves with purpose and vision. Invest in knowledge, books, mentorships, and experiences that expand your financial intelligence. Take bold, inspired action without doubt or fear. Trust that every step is leading you toward wealth. You are not trying to be rich. You are merely expressing the wealth that already exists within you. Month 7, 9, multiple streams of income. One source of income is not enough. A millionaire understands that money is a flowing river, not a stagnant pool. Create new income streams, investments, business ventures, or high-income skills that generate passive wealth. Develop financial discipline. Manage, multiply, and move money strategically. Surround yourself with wealth-conscious individuals. The energy of your environment shapes your reality. Your old self, the one that believed in limitations, has faded. You are moving with the certainty of one who knows his wealth is inevitable. Month 10, month 12. Walking in wealth at this stage, you no longer hope to be a millionaire. You embody it. Everything around you begins to reflect this truth. Your thoughts, words, and actions all align with your financial abundance. You see evidence of wealth appearing in your life. Unexpected income, new opportunities, and financial breakthroughs. Gratitude flows effortlessly because you know without a doubt that you have mastered the art of wealth. Your bank account may still be catching up, but the transformation is complete. You are no longer bound by scarcity. You have become the millionaire you once sought to be. For a moment, and let yourself step into a world where money is no longer a concern. Imagine waking up in the morning, stretching out in a bed that is yours without worry, knowing that everything you desire is within reach. Feel the security that comes with having more than enough, the deep sense of calm that accompanies financial abundance. There is no rush, no struggle, no need to grasp at success, because it is already yours. Now open your eyes and recognize this. The only thing standing between you and this reality is the belief that it has not yet arrived. Wealth is not something external to be pursued. It is an internal state of being that you must assume before it materializes in your life. The world is not responding to your desires. It is responding to the identity you have chosen to inhabit. If you see yourself as someone who is trying to become rich, you will always remain in the state of trying. If you see yourself as someone who is already abundant, the outer world must reflect that truth. This is the foundation of all transformation. You do not attract what you want. You attract what you are. Many spend their lives chasing money, running after opportunities, constantly searching for the next strategy, the next business idea, the next lucky break. They believe that once they reach a certain income, or once they secure a particular job, then they will finally feel rich, finally feel successful. But this is an illusion. The very act of chasing creates more chasing. The person who believes wealth is always just out of reach will continue to experience a life where it remains just out of reach. Step back for a moment and think. What if wealth is not something that must be pursued, but something that must be revealed? What if the millionaire version of you already exists, right here, right now, waiting to be acknowledged? Your mind is the master architect of your reality. If you were to assume lately, completely, without hesitation, that you are already wealthy, your thoughts, behaviors, and circumstances would begin to shift to match that assumption. The outer world is nothing more than a reflection of your internal world. The moment you decide that you are rich, truly rich, not just financially, but in mind and spirit, in the way you move through life, you begin to act differently. You no longer hesitate when making financial decisions because you trust that money flows effortlessly to you. You no longer operate from a place of fear, desperately clinging to every dollar, because you know that your wealth is infinite. You stop making choices based on lack, and instead, you move through the world as someone who already has everything they need. This shift is not about reckless spending or pretending to be something you are not. It is about alignment. It is about becoming the person who naturally attracts wealth, rather than the person who is constantly struggling to attain it. The person who is truly wealthy does not check their bank account in anxiety, does not feel the weight of every financial decision, does not live in the mindset of scarcity. They trust, they know, and because they know, their reality reflects it back to them. You might wonder, but how do I assume wealth when my current reality shows me otherwise? This is where most people falter. They believe that their present circumstances are proof of who they are. But understand this, your current circumstances are simply the result of past assumptions. They are echoes of an old mindset, a previous state of being. If you continue to define yourself by what you see now, you will continue to recreate it. Instead, you must define yourself by what you are stepping into. Start small. Each morning before you rise, take a deep breath and step into the feeling of wealth. Imagine what it feels like to have complete financial freedom, not just the numbers in your account, but the deep inner confidence that comes with knowing you are supported, that money is always flowing to you. Throughout the day, remind yourself that you are no longer someone who lacks, but someone who has. When faced with a decision, ask yourself, how would the wealthiest version of me respond? And act accordingly. The world will resist at first, because it is still reflecting your old self. Doubts may arise, challenges may appear, and it may seem as though nothing is changing. But if you persist, if you hold the assumption of wealth unwaveringly, refusing to be swayed by temporary illusions, life will begin to shift. Unexpected income will appear, opportunities will present themselves, the right connections will form. What once seemed impossible will become effortless because you are no longer striving. You are simply allowing the wealth that was always yours to take shape. Most will never realize this truth. They will continue to chase, to struggle, to believe that money is something external, something difficult, something meant for others. But you now know the secret. Wealth is an identity, not a pursuit. And the moment you claim it as yours, the world has no choice but to comply. Imagine yourself already living the life of a millionaire. See yourself in the home of your dreams, feeling the comfort of financial freedom, the ease of knowing that every desire is effortlessly fulfilled. Picture the experiences, the choices, the sense of abundance that comes with wealth. Do not merely observe it, feel the certainty, the power, the joy of knowing that you have already arrived. Now, open your eyes and understand this. The moment you truly assume this state as your reality, the world will begin to shift to make it so. Everything in life is a reflection of the assumptions you hold. What you believe to be true is what you continue to experience. If you assume wealth is difficult to attain, life will show you endless obstacles. If you assume that money flows easily and naturally to you, opportunities will begin to present themselves without struggle. The outer world does not create your inner state creates the outer world. This is the fundamental truth that most overlook. They believe they must first see the money in their hands before they can feel wealthy. But it is the other way around. You must first feel wealthy within before the physical world reflects it back to you. The power of assumption is absolute. Your mind dictates reality, whether you are conscious of it or not. Every day you are assuming things about yourself, your worth, your financial state, and your future. The question is, are you assuming wealth or are you assuming struggle? Are you assuming that you are already a millionaire or are you assuming that it is something you are still waiting for? Whatever you assume with conviction will harden into fact. If you were already a millionaire, how would you think? How would you carry yourself? Would you doubt, hesitate, or fear? Or would you walk with the confidence of someone who knows that wealth is already theirs? The key is to hold this assumption so firmly that nothing in the external world can shake it. You do not waver based on temporary circumstances. If your bank account is empty, it does not concern you because you know that it is merely an illusion, a reflection of past thoughts. Your new assumption, your unwavering belief in your wealth, will override it. Most people allow external reality to dictate their internal state. If they see lack, they feel lack. If they see struggle, they feel struggle. But the ones who master assumption understand that they must hold the vision of wealth even when their senses try to tell them otherwise. They persist in the belief no matter what. And because they persist, the world eventually conforms to match that belief. This is not about wishful thinking. It is about certainty. It is about knowing that reality is malleable, shaped entirely by consciousness. When you assume something with full conviction, the world bends to accommodate that assumption. If you believe beyond any doubt that you are already a millionaire, that assumption will set into motion a series of events that will bring it into physical form. The right people, ideas, and circumstances will be drawn to you. You will take actions that align with your new identity, often without even realizing it. Your perception of opportunities will change. What once seemed impossible will suddenly appear effortless. But you must not falter. Many begin this practice with enthusiasm, but when they do not see immediate results, they return to their old assumptions of lack and limitation. This is why most never achieve wealth. They waver. They allow doubt to creep in. They assume success for a moment, but then allow the weight of current circumstances to pull them back into old patterns. The secret is to hold the assumption as if it were already true, regardless of what the physical world appears to show. Think of a seed planted in the ground. When you first bury it, you see nothing. But beneath the surface, the process has already begun. If you continue to water it, nurture it, and trust that it will grow, one day it will break through the soil. But if you keep digging it up, doubting whether it will sprout, it will never reach its full potential. The same is true for your assumption of wealth. The moment you truly decide, that you are already a millionaire, the process begins. But it requires faith, patience, and unwavering conviction. Begin now, assume it fully. See yourself as a person of immense wealth. Walk with the posture, the attitude, the certainty of someone who knows they are financially abundant. Speak as though it is already true. Make decisions from the mindset of wealth. Do not wait for proof, become the proof. The world is merely an echo of your inner state, and the moment you master the power of assumption, life will have no choice but to align itself with your belief. What you see in your present reality is nothing but a reflection of past thoughts, past assumptions, past beliefs. It is not permanent, it is not fixed. It is merely an echo, a delayed response to what you have previously imagined and accepted as true. The moment you understand this, you will stop reacting to circumstances and begin to master them. You will realize that the wealth, success, and abundance you desire are not dependent on what is in front of you now, but on what you choose to assume and persist in mentally. Most people live their lives bound by what they can see, hear, and touch. If their bank account is empty, they assume lack. If opportunities seem scarce, they assume struggle. They let the outer world dictate their inner world, unaware that this is the very reason they remain stuck. But those who understand the nature of reality do the opposite. They refuse to be defined by present conditions. They know that what appears real today is simply the manifestation of old thinking, and that new thinking, sustained with conviction, must bring about new experiences. If you want to become wealthy, you must first detach from what your senses tell you about your financial situation. You must stop looking at the numbers in your bank account as proof of who you are. You must stop measuring your success by external evidence. Instead, shift your focus inward. Begin to see wealth in your imagination and accept it as your reality long before the world reflects it. If you persist, it is inevitable that the world will conform to your new inner state. Consider the power of imagination. Everything you see around you, from the buildings to the technology, from great works of art to entire industries, was once just an idea in someone's mind. It did not exist in the physical world, but the Creator saw it clearly within. They did not wait for proof before believing in their vision. They believed first, and the proof followed. The same law applies to wealth. You do not need to see the money before you believe in your abundance. You believe in it first, and then it materializes. Detachment is key. Detachment does not mean ignoring reality or pretending circumstances do not exist. It means refusing to be controlled by them. It means recognizing that what you see now is simply the product of past assumptions, and that you have the power to create something entirely new. It means placing your trust in the unseen, in the reality you are forming through your imagination, rather than the outdated reflection of past thoughts. Think of a radio. If you are tuned into a station that plays only negativity, struggle, and lack, that is all you will hear. But the moment you change the frequency, you begin to receive something new. Music, inspiration, knowledge. You would not blame the radio for what it plays, you would simply change the station. Your mind operates in the same way. If you continue to focus on present circumstances, you remain tuned to the same reality. But the moment you shift your mental frequency to wealth, abundance, and success, you begin receiving a new reality. Most people get caught in a cycle. They see lack, they focus on it, they assume it is real, and in doing so they create more of it. They live in reaction to their circumstances instead of taking control of them. The only way to break free is to detach completely from what appears to be and invest all your energy into what you are creating. When you stop measuring your wealth by what your eyes see and instead measure it by what your imagination holds, you step into your true power. This is not an act of delusion, it is an act of faith. Faith in the unseen is the foundation of all success. If you can see it in your mind and feel it as real, it is already done. The outer world has no choice but to catch up. But if you allow yourself to be swayed by circumstances, to react to what appears to be, you will remain bound to the past. Stop checking for evidence. Stop looking to the physical world for confirmation before you believe. The moment you decide that wealth is yours, act as if it is already true. Make choices from the state of someone who has already arrived. Carry yourself as a person of abundance. Trust that unseen forces are working on your behalf, aligning events, opportunities, and ideas that will make your assumption a reality. Your present reality is old news. It is a reflection of who you once were, not who you are becoming. Do not give it power. Instead, step boldly into the future you have created in your mind. Know that it is real, that it is already unfolding, and that nothing can stop it except your own doubt. If you refuse to doubt, if you hold steady to your vision with unwavering faith, you will wake up one day and find that the world has rearranged itself to match the wealth you assumed within. Each day before the world wakes up to claim your attention, take time to claim your reality, your wealth, your success, your abundance. These are not things to be chased, but states to be assumed. And the most powerful way to assume them is through daily mental rehearsal. This is not idle daydreaming. It is the intentional act of training your mind to accept wealth as its natural state and bring forth the scene of your desired life, Do not simply see it as an outsider looking in. Step into it, feel it, make it so vivid that it feels more real than the present moment. See yourself in the home of your dreams, running your hands over the fine textures of its walls, walking through its grand spaces as though they belong to you, because they do. See yourself checking your bank account and feeling a deep sense of satisfaction at the abundance reflected there. Imagine the transactions, the effortless movement of wealth in and out. Never a worry, only a knowing that money flows to you with ease. But vision alone is not enough. You must charge your images with feeling. Thought alone does not create. It is the emotional intensity behind the thought that shapes reality. If you simply visualize wealth without embodying the emotions that accompany it, you are merely entertaining an idea. But when you feel the joy, the freedom, the confidence of being financially abundant, you are assuming the state of wealth. And assumption, when persisted in, hardens into fact. How would you feel if you were already living your dream life? Would you feel relieved, grateful, excited, powerful? Hold on to that feeling, breathe into it. Let it flood every cell of your being until you forget for a moment that you are sitting in a quiet room with your eyes closed. Instead, you are there in the reality of your choosing. And because you have experienced it inwardly, you must experience it outwardly. The world is simply a mirror, reflecting back to you the state you consistently occupy. This is the power of daily mental rehearsal. It is the practice of impressing upon your subconscious mind the truth of your wealth before it appears in physical form. And once the subconscious mind accepts something as real, it will move heaven and earth to bring it about. Ideas will come to you. Unexpected opportunities will arise. People, circumstances, and events will shift in ways you could never have planned. But all of this begins in the unseen. Many people will tell you to work harder, to chase opportunities, to do more. But action without a shift in consciousness is like trying to row upstream against a strong current. You may move, but it will be exhausting and slow. When you practice daily mental rehearsal, you align yourself with the current of wealth. You no longer struggle against circumstances. You allow them to rearrange themselves in your favor. Do not make the mistake of assuming that just because you cannot yet see your wealth, it is not real. The tree exists in the seed before it breaks through the soil. The masterpiece exists in the mind of the artist before the first brushstroke touches the canvas. And your wealth exists in your consciousness before it takes form in your world. Mental rehearsal is the watering of the seed, the shaping of the masterpiece before it appears. The seed of your being. Each day, dedicate time to this practice. Do not skip it, no matter how busy life becomes. Just as you would not expect a body to grow stronger without consistent exercise, do not expect your mind to accept wealth as its natural state without daily training. Make it a sacred ritual, morning, before the noise of the world intrudes, or night, when the mind is most impressionable. These are the moments to step into your wealth, to see it, feel it, and live it before it arrives. And when doubt arises, when the old patterns of thinking try to creep in, remind yourself, the unseen is more real than the seen. What you assume, you become. What you feel, you attract. What you persist in mentally will solidify into experience. Do not strive toward wealth. Assume it. Do not reach for success. Embody it. The secret to transforming your reality lies not in effort, struggle, or endless pursuit, but in the realization that what you seek is already yours. You are not someone trying to become a millionaire. You are a millionaire now. The moment you accept this as truth, the world begins to shift to accommodate your assumption. Most people approach wealth as something distant, something to be achieved through years of work, struggle, and gradual progress. They make financial decisions from a place of limitation, always measuring their current circumstances, always trying to get there. But those who understand the nature of creation do not act from lack. They do not behave as if they are on a journey to wealth. They act as if wealth is already present. They make decisions, speak, and carry themselves from the end, already living in the reality of financial abundance, regardless of what their senses may temporarily suggest. This is the key to mastering your reality. The world does not respond to your desires. It responds to your state of being. If you walk through life as someone hoping to be wealthy one day, you will always be chasing that day. But if you step into the identity of wealth now, mentally, emotionally, and behaviorally, everything around you will shift to reflect that state. Ask yourself, how does a millionaire think? How does a person of abundance approach opportunities? Do they hesitate? Do they dwell in doubt? Do they fear loss? Or do they move through the world with confidence, clarity, and decisiveness? Begin to embody these traits now. This does not mean reckless spending or pretending to have money you do not yet physically possess. Acting from the end is not about outward displays of wealth. It is about the internal posture of certainty and confidence. It means making financial decisions with the mindset of abundance rather than scarcity. Instead of saying, "I can't afford this," shift to, "How can I afford this?" Instead of seeing opportunities as risks, see them as stepping stones. Instead of hoarding money in fear, allow it to flow freely, knowing that it is always being replenished. When you speak, let your words reflect the reality you have chosen. Stop affirming struggle. Stop reinforcing lack. The way you speak about money, success, and opportunity shapes your world. If you constantly declare, "I'm trying to make more money," you are affirming a state of trying rather than having. Instead, speak from the certainty that wealth is yours. Say, "Money flows to me with ease. Opportunities always find me. I am a magnet for wealth." The words you choose imprint upon your subconscious, and your subconscious brings them to life. Beyond words, observe how you carry yourself. Wealth is not just about money, it is about presence. A person of abundance moves with certainty, not desperation. They do not seek validation, they radiate self-assurance. They do not shrink in fear of failure, they know that success is inevitable. Begin to embody this now. Walk with confidence, stand tall, make eye contact. Engage with the world as someone who has already arrived, not as someone hoping to get there. This shift in identity is what bridges the gap between where you are and where you want to be. The moment you stop seeing yourself as someone on the path to success and start seeing yourself as someone who is already successful, life will respond accordingly. The right people, resources, and circumstances will begin to appear not because you are chasing them, but because they are naturally drawn to the state you occupy. This is why so many who strive endlessly for success never seem to reach it, because they are always projecting it into the future rather than assuming it now. The key is to collapse that distance, to live, think, and act as though your desired outcome is already fact. When you wake up each morning, do not start your day as someone struggling to build wealth. Start it as a wealthy person would. What thoughts do you entertain? What choices do you make? How do you spend your time? Align every aspect of your being with the life you have claimed, and reality will mold itself to match your assumption. Hold this conviction, refuse to waver, and most importantly, never act from a place of lack. Every decision you make, every step you take, let it come from the end, not toward it. Wealth is not something you become. It is something you realize. You already are. Gratitude is the final and most powerful seal upon all that you wish to manifest. It is the quiet yet undeniable force that cements your reality into place. When you give thanks, you do more than express appreciation. You affirm that what you seek is already yours. And in doing so, you invite more of it into your life. Most people wait until their desires materialize before they feel grateful. They wait for the money to arrive, the business to succeed, the circumstances to shift before they say, thank you. But this is not how creation works. If you only express gratitude after something has appeared, you are merely reacting to life, not shaping it. The secret is to give thanks before you see any evidence of change, to cultivate an unwavering knowing that your wealth is already here, even if it has not yet reached your physical senses. Gratitude is not just a practice, it is a state of being. When you live in a state of gratitude, you move through the world with the assumption that life is already working in your favor. You stop worrying, stop doubting, stop questioning if your desires will come to pass. Instead, you walk in certainty, because gratitude confirms that what you desire is already done. It is the bridge between the invisible and the visible, between the imagined and the experienced. Each morning, before the noise of the day sets in, take a moment to sit in gratitude, not for what you hope will come, but for what already exists in the unseen. Close your eyes and feel the joy of financial abundance as if it were already flowing into your life. Give thanks for the wealth, the success, the freedom, and the limitless opportunities that are unfolding for you. Do not wait for physical proof. Let your gratitude be the proof. Say, thank you for the overflowing prosperity in my life. Thank you for the financial abundance that supports me with ease. Thank you for the endless opportunities that come to me effortlessly. Speak these words not as a wish, but as a fact. Feel the deep appreciation in your heart, as though you have just received everything you have ever wanted, because in truth you have. The moment you assume something to be true, it is already set into motion. Gratitude amplifies your energy. It raises your frequency to match the wealth you desire. If you constantly dwell in frustration over what you lack, you align yourself with lack. If you complain about your financial struggles, you reinforce them. But the moment you shift into gratitude, you step into abundance. You affirm that there is nothing missing, that you are already provided for, and the universe responds accordingly. Many believe they must struggle and work tirelessly before they can experience wealth. But gratitude shortcuts the process. It bypasses the need for struggle by shifting your state of being immediately. Instead of striving, you receive. Instead of chasing, you attract. Wealth becomes a natural consequence of your inner alignment rather than a distant goal you must fight for. Throughout your day, make gratitude your foundation. When you spend money, do not feel fear or hesitation. Give thanks that you have it to spend, knowing that more is always coming. When an opportunity arises, even if it seems small, appreciate it fully, for it is a stepping stone toward greater things. If an unexpected challenge appears, be grateful still, for every situation carries a hidden gift meant to bring you closer to your vision. Gratitude transforms not only your reality but your entire experience of life. When you focus on what you appreciate, you begin to see how much is already working in your favor. You become a magnet for wealth, not because you are demanding it, but because you are recognizing that it is already yours. And the more you acknowledge it, the more it expands. Before you close your eyes, reflect on all that you are thankful for, not just what has already come, but what is on its way. See yourself living your dream life, feeling the fulfillment of knowing that you are financially free. Give thanks as though you are already there, because in truth you are. The outer world is simply catching up to the reality you have chosen within. Gratitude is the final step, the confirmation that your manifestation is complete. It seals your assumption, making it firm and unshakable. When you give thanks for your wealth, even before it appears, you declare to the universe that you already have it. And in response, the universe delivers exactly that. Wealth flows effortlessly to the one who knows it is already theirs. Everything you desire already exists within you. Wealth is not something to chase. It is a state of being you assume. By mastering the power of assumption, you dictate your reality. aligning your thoughts and emotions with the financial success you seek. Detachment from circumstances frees you from the illusion of lack. Daily mental rehearsal strengthens your vision, making it as real in your mind as it is destined to be in your hands. Acting from the end solidifies your identity as a millionaire, shaping your decisions and behaviors in accordance with the wealth you claim as yours. And finally, gratitude seals the manifestation, confirming your belief and allowing the universe to deliver all that you affirm. The journey to wealth is not about struggle. It is about consciousness. The moment you embody the reality of abundance, life reshapes itself to mirror your inner conviction. Your only task is to assume, feel, and trust in the unseen, knowing that the outer world will inevitably conform. Wealth is not in the distant future, it is already yours. Now live from that truth. Thank you for your time and for embracing this path of transformation. May you walk in certainty, knowing that your prosperity is already here. Imagine for a moment that everything you desire is already yours. Not coming, not on its way, but already yours. If that is true, why do challenges arise? Why does life seem to test you just before the blessing appears? When God is about to bless you, He refines you. He removes what no longer belongs. The discomfort you feel is not punishment, it is transformation. You are being stretched, molded, and aligned with what is already yours in the unseen realm. Have you noticed that right before something incredible happens, life seems to throw obstacles in your path? This is because you are being strengthened for what is ahead. You do not plant a seed today and expect a tree tomorrow. The soil must break, the roots must take hold, and only then does the fruit appear. When God is preparing you, He removes distractions, sometimes in the form of people. You may not understand it now, but certain relationships must end for you to receive what's next. Do not chase what is leaving. Trust what is unfolding. You pray, you wait. You wonder why nothing is happening. But the waiting is not wasted time, it is preparation. Every delay is a divine setup to place you in perfect alignment with your blessing. You begin to feel different. You no longer crave what you once did. You desire peace more than noise, purpose more than validation. That is a sign. You are being shifted to match the frequency of your blessing. You thought that opportunity was for you. You thought that relationship was meant to last. But God saw what you could not. When a door closes, do not stand there knocking. Walk forward. The right one is opening soon. You cannot carry yesterday's burdens into tomorrow's blessings. You feel an urge to let go, to cleanse your spirit, to free yourself from what no longer serves you. That is a sign. You are being prepared for something greater. Things start working out. Small blessings begin to unfold. You meet the right person. A solution appears where there was none. These are glimpses of what is coming. Stay in alignment. You may feel tired. You may feel like giving up, but you must hold firm in faith. The blessing is already yours. It is your unwavering belief that unlocks it. So if you are facing challenges, feeling shifts, and experiencing delays, do not be discouraged. These are signs that something magnificent is unfolding. There comes a time in every journey when the path becomes difficult, when obstacles appear at every turn and nothing seems to be going as planned. It is in these moments that many feel tempted to give up, to question everything, and to wonder if the dream they hold so dearly is even possible. But what if these challenges were not signs of failure, but confirmations that something greater is unfolding? What if the very difficulties that make you question your path are, in fact, the evidence that you are standing on the edge of something magnificent? Life has a way of testing you right before it blesses you. The moments of struggle, the unexpected delays, the closed doors, these are not punishments, they are preparations. Just as the night is darkest before the dawn, just as the seed must break beneath the soil before it can sprout, your challenges are not signs of defeat, but of transformation. Imagine for a moment that you are being sculpted, molded by unseen hands that know exactly what you need to become the person who is ready to receive the blessing you have been seeking. A sculptor does not simply admire a block of marble and wish it would become a masterpiece. No, he chisels away at it, removing what does not belong, cutting away pieces that to the untrained eye may seem unnecessary. But the artist knows. Every stroke, every cut, every seemingly destructive action is leading to the emergence of something extraordinary. You are no different. The struggles you face are not meant to break you, they are shaping you. The delays you experience are not there to discourage you, they are aligning you with divine timing. The difficulties that seem overwhelming are not signs of abandonment, but of preparation. The challenge always intensifies before the breakthrough, because it is in that moment that you are closest to the blessing. Think back to the times in your life when you were on the verge of something significant. Did it come easily, or did it require faith, persistence, and an unshakable belief that what you desired was already yours? Every great success story is written with chapters of struggle. Every person who has ever achieved something meaningful has faced moments where giving up seemed like the easiest option. But those who hold firm, those who refuse to be defeated by temporary hardships, are the ones who walk into their blessings fully prepared to receive them. It is easy to believe when everything is going smoothly. It is effortless to have faith when doors are opening and opportunities are flowing. But true faith is tested in the waiting. True belief is proven in the moments when nothing makes sense, when you are faced with setbacks that seem unfair, when your prayers seem unanswered. And yet, this is precisely where the shift is happening. What appears to be the greatest opposition is often the final barrier before the manifestation of what you have been seeking. You must train yourself to see struggles differently. Instead of viewing them as obstacles, recognize them as signs. When things become difficult, when resistance appears, when you are faced with unexpected hardships, take a deep breath and remind yourself, this is happening because I am close. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, what is this preparing me for? Because the truth is, nothing in your life is random, nothing is wasted. Every challenge carries within it the seeds of transformation. Do not run from difficulty. Do not shrink in the face of challenges. Stand firm in the knowing that what you seek is already yours, and what you are experiencing now is simply the process of stepping into it. The storm is not here to destroy you. It is here to clear the path. The obstacles are not blocking your blessing. They are ensuring that when you arrive, you will be strong enough to sustain it. When you feel resistance, do not be discouraged. When things seem to fall apart, do not lose heart. When the road becomes rough, walk forward with confidence, because you are not being punished. You are being prepared. And when the blessing finally comes, you will understand why the struggle had to come first. You will see that every moment of difficulty was leading you to exactly where you were meant to be. And you will know, beyond any doubt, that the storm was never meant to break you. It was only ever meant to bring you home to what was already yours. There are moments in life when people unexpectedly walk away. Friendships fade, relationships end, and connections that once felt unbreakable suddenly dissolve. In these times, it is natural to feel abandoned, to wonder why someone who was once an important part of your journey is no longer there. But what if this separation is not a loss, but a sign that something greater is being arranged for you? What if, instead of rejection, it is divine alignment? It is easy to become attached to the familiar, to hold on to people simply because they have been part of your past. But not everyone is meant to walk with you into your future. There are seasons in life, and just as trees shed their leaves in autumn to prepare for new growth in spring, you too must release certain connections to make space for what is coming. The removal of certain people is not a punishment. It is a clearing, a preparation for the next chapter of your life. When God is preparing to bless you, He often begins by shifting your environment. Sometimes that means removing those who are no longer in alignment with where you are going. This can be painful because the human heart seeks connection. We find comfort in relationships, and when they end, it can feel like something has been taken from us. But understand this: nothing is ever truly taken from you that was meant to stay. The people who leave are simply fulfilling their role in your story. Some were there to teach you a lesson, to help you grow, or to serve as a bridge to something greater. When their purpose is complete, they exit, making way for what is truly meant for you. At times, separation happens because you have outgrown a connection. You are evolving, and the energy around you must match your growth. Holding on to people who no longer align with your purpose can delay your progress. You may notice that certain conversations no longer inspire you, that what once connected you to someone now feels forced. This is not a sign that you are better than them. It is simply an indication that your paths are diverging. Trust that this is happening for a reason. There will also be moments when people walk away unexpectedly, without explanation. They may withdraw, distance themselves, or even betray your trust. This too is divine alignment. Sometimes God allows people to show their true nature so you do not carry them into a season where they do not belong. Instead of asking, "Why did they leave?" ask, "What is this making space for?" Instead of chasing after those who have chosen to go, surrender to the knowing that their absence is creating room for something better. You must learn to trust the flow of life. Not everyone who starts the journey with you is meant to finish it. Some people were only ever meant to be part of the foundation, not the final structure. When you cling to relationships that are meant to end, you block the new blessings that are trying to enter. Letting go is not always easy, but it is necessary. If you feel alone, if you are experiencing the loss of relationships, know this: isolation often comes before elevation. When God is preparing you for something greater, He may first separate you so that you can see clearly. Without the distractions of people who no longer serve your journey, you can hear divine guidance more clearly. You are being positioned, not punished. It may not make sense now, but one day you will look back and understand. You will see how every goodbye was leading you to something better. You will realize that what you thought was rejection was actually protection. And when the right people enter your life, those who uplift you, who align with your vision, who bring peace instead of confusion, you will understand why some had to leave. Do not mourn what is being removed. Rejoice in what is being prepared for you. Walk forward with faith, knowing that every ending is simply the beginning of something greater. There are moments in life when everything feels like it is standing still. You pray, you work, you believe, and yet nothing seems to be happening. The doors remain closed, the opportunities don't arrive, and the blessing you have been expecting feels out of reach. It is in these moments that frustration creeps in. Doubt whispers, maybe it's not meant for you. But what if the delay is not a denial? What if the very thing you perceive as a setback is actually divine preparation? Timing is everything. A flower does not bloom before its season, and fruit does not ripen overnight. If you rush the process, you miss the beauty of its unfolding. The same is true for the blessings meant for you. What you desire is already yours, but you must be ready to receive it. And readiness is not just about wanting something, it is about being prepared to sustain it. There is a reason things are not happening as quickly as you expect. Sometimes the delay is protecting you from something you cannot yet see. You may think you are ready for the next level, but there are lessons that must be learned first. A delay allows you to develop the strength, the wisdom, and the character required to handle what is coming. If you receive a blessing too soon, you may not have the capacity to keep it. What good is a door opening if you are not yet strong enough to walk through it? The most powerful transformations happen in the waiting. In stillness, you are refined. You are given the chance to release limiting beliefs, to grow in faith, and to build the inner foundation required to sustain your desires. If everything came instantly, there would be no depth, no appreciation, no real understanding of its value. What is truly meant for you is worth waiting for, and when the time is right, nothing can stop it from arriving. Think of all the times in your life when something did not happen when you wanted it to, only for you to later realize it was for the best. The relationship that didn't work out, the job that fell through, the opportunity that was delayed, all of it in hindsight led you somewhere better, but in the moment, it was difficult to see. The same is happening now. You may not understand why things are taking longer than expected, but one day you look back and see that every delay was divinely orchestrated. Patience is not passive. It is not about sitting idly, waiting for something to change. True patience is active trust. It is standing firm in the knowing that what is meant for you cannot be lost. It is continuing to move forward even when the road is unclear. It is refusing to let frustration dictate your emotions, knowing that divine timing is always perfect. When the delay feels unbearable, remind yourself, nothing good is ever rushed. When you plant a seed, you do not dig it up every day to see if it is growing. You trust the process, you water it, you nurture it, and you believe that in time it will break through the soil. The same is true for your desires. Just because you cannot see progress does not mean it is not happening. Every delay is working in your favor. It is aligning circumstances, preparing people, and shaping you into the person who can fully receive what is coming. Instead of resisting it, embrace it. Trust that the pause is not a punishment. It is a preparation. And when the time is right, when you are truly ready, the door will open effortlessly, and you will understand why it could not have happened a moment sooner. There comes a time when something within you begins to shift. It is not something you can fully explain, yet you feel it in the depths of your being. A quiet knowing, an unshakable awareness, a sense that something greater is on the horizon. This feeling is not based on external circumstances. Nothing in your current reality may suggest change is coming, and yet you just know. This is the whisper of the divine, the stirring of your spirit as it prepares you for the blessing ahead. It is a shift that often comes without warning. You wake up one day, and things that once interested you no longer hold the same weight. The conversations you used to engage in feel empty, and the places you used to find comfort no longer satisfy you. It is as if your soul is expanding, making space for something new, something higher. This shift can feel unsettling. You may not fully understand why you feel different, why you are suddenly drawn to solitude, to deep reflection, to a yearning for more. This is because growth is happening beneath the surface. Your consciousness is aligning with what is meant for you, and though you cannot see it yet, change is already unfolding. The people around you may not understand this shift. They may question why you are not as engaged in things that once excited you. They may sense a difference in your energy, a quiet confidence that was not there before. Do not let their confusion shake you. This journey is not for them to understand. It is for you to embrace. You are being prepared, being positioned, being transformed from within. There is a reason why this awareness arrives before the blessing. The mind must first align with the new reality before it manifests. Before anything appears in the physical world, it must first be created in the unseen. Your inner world must shift before your outer world can reflect it. This is why, even before the blessing arrives, you begin to sense its presence. It is already yours. You are simply being prepared to receive it. Trust this knowing. Do not dismiss it as mere wishful thinking. Your spirit is guiding you, revealing to you what is already set in motion. When you feel this shift, begin to act as if what you desire is already here. Walk with the confidence of someone who knows they are stepping into something greater. Let go of doubt, release fear, and move with certainty. This shift is a call to alignment. It is an invitation to prepare yourself, to let go of anything that no longer serves you, to step boldly into the version of yourself that is ready for the next level. Pay attention to the thoughts, the inspirations, the nudges that arise within you. These are signs, messages leading you toward what is already unfolding. You are not imagining it. That sense of expectancy, that inner knowing, that feeling that something bigger is coming, it is real. The blessing is already on its way. Your spirit knows before your mind can comprehend. Walk forward with faith, knowing that what you feel within is a glimpse of what is already prepared for you. There are moments in life when doors close without warning. Opportunities that once seemed promising suddenly disappear. Relationships that felt secure come to an unexpected end. Plans that appeared certain unravel before your eyes. In these moments, it is easy to feel lost, confused, and even abandoned. You may wonder, why is this happening? What did I do wrong? But what if the door closing is not a punishment, but a divine redirection? What if the very thing you are grieving was never meant to be yours in the first place? What if the closed door is not rejection, but protection? Too often we cling to situations, people, and opportunities because they feel familiar. We convince ourselves that we know what is best, that if we just try harder, things will work out. But the truth is, not everything is meant to go with you into the next chapter of your life. A closed door is not the end of your story, it is the beginning of something greater. Imagine how many times you have been spared from something you thought you wanted, a job you desperately applied for but never got, a relationship you invested in only for it to fall apart, a plan that seemed perfect yet never came to pass. At the time it may have felt like failure, but looking back, you see it for what it was: protection. A closed door is often God's way of saving you from what you cannot yet see. You may not understand it now, but trust that every closed door is making way for something better. If you were meant to walk through it, it would have stayed open. When something is removed from your life, it is because it no longer serves your highest good. You were not rejected. You were redirected. You were being guided towards something greater, something more aligned with the person you are becoming. The key is to release resistance. Instead of fighting to reopen doors that have closed, surrender. Trust that if something is meant for you, it will find its way back. And if it does not, it was never yours to begin with. Do not waste your energy mourning what has left. Lift your eyes to what is ahead. The longer you hold on to what is gone, the longer you delay the new blessings waiting for you. When one door closes, another opens. But you must be willing to walk forward. This is where faith comes in. Faith is believing that even when you do not see the next step, it is there. It is trusting that the path unfolding before you is leading you exactly where you need to be. Many of the greatest blessings in life come disguised as disappointments. But when you shift your perspective, you begin to see that nothing was ever lost. Everything that leaves makes space for something better. Every ending is a new beginning. Every closed door is a step closer to the right one. So do not fear when a door closes. Do not dwell on what was. Instead, trust in what is to come. The blessing ahead is far greater than anything behind you. You are being led, protected, and positioned for something beyond what you could have imagined. Walk forward with faith, knowing that what is meant for you will never pass you by. There comes a moment when the past no longer holds the same weight it once did. A quiet shift begins within you, a deep, undeniable urge to release old patterns, habits, and attachments that no longer serve you. You may not fully understand why, but something inside tells you that it is time to let go. This is not just a passing thought, it is a calling. You begin to realize that holding on to the past has only kept you trapped. Old wounds, regrets, and disappointments have taken up too much space in your mind and heart. You see now that they have only delayed the blessings that are trying to reach you. You feel it in your spirit. The time has come to release what no longer aligns with the person you are becoming. Letting go may feel difficult. The past is familiar, and familiarity feels safe even when it no longer serves you. You may find yourself questioning, what if I let go and regret it? What if I am not ready? But deep down, you know the truth. You cannot carry the weight of the past and expect to step into the future with ease. The two cannot coexist. You must choose. This urge to let go is not random. It is divine preparation. You are being positioned for something greater, but first you must create space for it. Imagine trying to fill a cup that is already overflowing. No matter how much more is poured in, it will spill over and be wasted. The same is true in your life. If your hands are full of the past, you cannot receive what is meant for your future. You may notice certain habits no longer feel right. The distractions, the negative thinking, the cycles you have repeated for years, they suddenly feel heavy, unnecessary. You are being called higher, and to rise, you must lighten your load. People from your past may no longer resonate with you. Some relationships that once felt important may start to fade. You are not losing them. You are evolving beyond what once connected you. Letting go does not mean you do not care. It means you are choosing growth over stagnation. You are choosing peace over chaos. You are choosing your future over your past. Pain from past experiences may also resurface, not to haunt you, but to be released. You are being given an opportunity to heal, to finally let go of the disappointments, the betrayals, the missed chances. You realize that carrying this pain has only weighed you down. Forgiveness is no longer something you resist. It becomes the key to your freedom. Letting go does not mean erasing the past. It means accepting it, learning from it, and moving forward without being bound by it. The past shaped you, but it does not define you. You are no longer who you once were, and because of that, you no longer need to hold on to what once was. Trust the urge to release. It is not an accident. It is a sign that your spirit is preparing you for something new. As you let go, you make room for the blessings that have been waiting for you. You step into a lighter, freer version of yourself. What is ahead of you is greater than what is behind you. The moment you release the past, you step into the fullness of what is meant for you. The time is now. Let go, trust, and watch as life unfolds in ways you never imagined. There are moments in life when things begin to shift in your favor, often in ways you did not expect. You find yourself in the right place at the right time. An opportunity presents itself when you least anticipate it. A door opens that you never even knocked on. These are not coincidences. They are signs that you are aligned with something greater. These moments may seem small. A kind word from a stranger, an unexpected financial blessing, a meeting with someone who holds the key to your next step. But when you start to notice these occurrences happening more frequently, you begin to realize that something is shifting. These are glimpses of the blessings that are making their way into your life. Favor does not always arrive in the way you expect. Sometimes it comes in the form of an opportunity disguised as a challenge. Perhaps you lose something only to realize later that it cleared space for something better. Maybe you were rejected from one opportunity, only to be guided toward one that is far more aligned with your purpose. This kind of favor is not random. It is a sign that you are walking in the right direction. When you are being prepared for a blessing, life begins to rearrange itself to support you. The things you once struggled for may now come effortlessly. People may suddenly be more willing to help you. Resources appear just when you need them. It is easy to overlook these moments if you are focused only on the big picture. But divine favor often begins in the small things. A shift in how people treat you, an opportunity you never saw coming, a moment of clarity that allows you to make the right decision. The more you recognize these signs, the more you open yourself up to receive. This is not about luck, it is about alignment. When you are in alignment with where you are meant to be, life begins to flow. Struggles that once seemed endless begin to fade. The energy around you changes. You start to attract the right people, the right situations, and the right opportunities. There will still be challenges, but they will no longer feel like obstacles. Instead, they will feel like stepping stones, guiding you forward. When you start to experience unusual favor, it is a reminder that you are not alone. You are being guided, supported, and prepared for something greater. But here is the key. You must remain open. Many people receive signs of favor but dismiss them as luck or coincidence. They ignore the small blessings and focus only on what has not yet arrived. But those who recognize these moments, who give thanks for even the smallest opportunities, create the space for more to come. Gratitude is the key to unlocking more favor. When you acknowledge and appreciate even the smallest blessings, you send a signal that you are ready for more. Life responds to your awareness. The more you recognize favor, the more you will receive. So pay attention. Notice the ways life is showing up for you. The unexpected call, the kind gesture, the door that opens without effort. These are not accidents, they are signs. They are reminders that something greater is unfolding. Trust in the timing of these blessings. Do not rush the process or question why things are happening the way they are. Instead, embrace the journey. Know that every moment of favor is leading you towards something even greater. You are on the right path. The evidence is already appearing. Watch, trust, and receive. There comes a time when everything around you seems to test your patience, your resilience, and most importantly, your faith. It may feel as though obstacles are piling up, as if every step forward is met with resistance. You begin to wonder why things are not moving as quickly as you had hoped, or why the path is not as smooth as you expected. But this is not happening to break you. It is happening to prepare you. Faith is the foundation of every blessing. It is the unseen force that turns the impossible into reality. When you are being prepared for something greater, your faith must be strong enough to carry it. Before the blessing arrives, you must prove to yourself and to the universe that you are ready. And the only way to strengthen faith is to be placed in situations that require it. Perhaps you are facing delays, setbacks, or even moments of deep uncertainty. You may feel as though nothing is working, no matter how much effort you put in. But this is where faith is tested the most. Will you continue to believe, even when you do not see results? Will you trust that something greater is unfolding, even when your current reality tells you otherwise? It is not about seeing, it is about knowing. It is about trusting that the blessing is already yours, even before it physically appears. If everything came easily, there would be no need for faith. But it is in the waiting, in the challenges, and in the moments of uncertainty that true faith is built. The tests you face are not there to discourage you. They are there to refine you, to strengthen you, to prepare you for what is coming. Every great blessing requires a strong foundation, and faith is that foundation. Without it, you may receive the blessing but lack the wisdom or endurance to maintain it. This is why the process is necessary. You are being stretched beyond your comfort zone, but not to harm you, to elevate you. The delays are not punishments, they are divine preparations. The setbacks are not failures, they are lessons that will equip you for what is ahead. Many people give up right before their breakthrough. They allow doubt to take root, letting fear convince them that what they desire will never come. But those who hold on to faith, who trust even in the silence, are the ones who receive the fullness of their blessings. Faith is more than just believing. It is acting as if you have already received what you asked for. It is walking with confidence, knowing that what is meant for you cannot be taken away. It is choosing gratitude even before the blessing arrives because you trust that it is on its way. If you find yourself being tested, do not see it as a sign to quit. See it as confirmation that something greater is coming. The stronger the test, the greater the blessing. You would not be challenged if you were not meant for more. You would not be stretched if you were not ready to grow. This is your call to strengthen your faith, to trust deeper, to believe without hesitation, and to walk forward even when the path is unclear. What you seek is already seeking you. The only question is, will you have the faith to hold on until it arrives? You are not being broken, you are being built. Your faith is the key, and the blessing is already on its way. Keep believing, keep trusting, keep going. Your blessing is already prepared. The question is, are you ready to receive it? Walk in faith, trust in the timing, and know that everything is aligning in your favor.